Hello, I'm Skip Yolberg, Chief Executive Officer of Grant Memorial Hospital.
We are excited to serve you with our newly renovated private inpatient rooms, comprehensive rehabilitation services, state-of-the-art imaging suite including 3D mammography, the only mother-infant care center in the Potomac Highland region, specialized clinics such as orthopedics and general surgery, and now our new infusion and cancer center in partnership with WVU Cancer Institute. To all our friends, thank you for choosing Grant Memorial Hospital.
Welcome to yet another edition of Explore Grant County. And we have another special guest here with us this evening. And I'm really excited about this because it's our election coverage. We're super pumped about it. It gets a voice out for everyone running for an office. And this is Ashley Cleaver, and she is running for Board of Education. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing terrific. So just a quick chat here. Okay. What made you decide to want to run?
I have been super involved since my oldest daughter, Nadia, who is in 5th grade now.
Getting older.
I know. Since she's been in school. So I decided early on that I really wanted to be a part of, her education. And the best way I can do is to volunteer my time and just be a part of, whatever she's doing at the time. So now I have Bianca in elementary school. She's in 2nd grade, and they both attend Petersburg Elementary. And so I spent years volunteering. I did Grant County Preschool, and I was the secretary. And then currently I'm the PES PTO president, and I've been that and the vice president over the last 6 years. And I just decided this was, my next step to contribute to my children and the children of Grant County.
Okay, so speaking of contributing to Grant County, what is the kind of the number one position platform that you're running on that you think will help contribute to the county schools?
So I think one of the main things that I'm focusing on is my children are part of Grant County schools. So as a parent of children in this school system, all of the decisions that are being made are personal to me. They're a connection to me. And so if I can go out there and take that personal connection and then, connect it to all the other children and, contribute to this accountability for Grant County schools, then I'd like to be part of that.
Because decisions made actually affect your kids being in the school system.
100%. It affects, our entire family. And that's why it's so personal to me. And that's why I really wanted to be a part of it.
Awesome. So do you think there's something being a part of the school system? Do you think there's something that really needs to be changed? Something that you see, it's like, if I get in, I'd like to change that.
I'm not sure that there's one particular thing right now. I think, we've had a difficult couple years with...
It's been rough.
Yeah, with COVID and then children and everybody being quarantined and then going back to schools. And we have all of these debates about, what's the best thing for children. And so I think one of the things I'd like to change is that we kind of come back as a community and all contribute to the decisions and trying to help. We want to take into account these professionals that are educating and, running the school system. But as parents, we want to feel like we're part of contributing to our children also. And so I think that we really just need to come back as a community and really work together to create the best education we can for our children.
And that is very important. I mean, because the education of our kids affects generations.
Yes.
So that is an important thing. So now we're going to go into kind of the tough-hitting journalistic questions.
Okay.
What do you see as one of the biggest problems facing Grant County schools right now?
I think one of the biggest problems, I'm not sure. I guess right now, we're going back and forth and with COVID, and I don't mean to keep going back to that, but it's been such a
relevant 2 years of our lives.
It's been such a relevant issue that right now children getting quarantined or knocked out of school or, taken out of the educational system for long periods of time.
Went dark there.
It really pulls them out of that instructional time. And so I think children are struggling to get back into that normal. Or some of them don't know what normal school is because they started after or in between. And so I think one of the problems is kind of getting back into the routine where, we put that education first and we make sure that the children are given that opportunity.
That's really odd. Our lights are dimming.
Maybe it's...
I don't know. So getting back to normal,
Yeah,
we need lights to see here. So sticking with the tough questions.
Okay.
There was a levy. Mm-hmm. Levy passes. I believe it was, if my numbers are wrong, you can correct me in the comments when this airs. I believe 5% of the levy was admission into all the games, sports, cheerleading, I guess that falls into that, whatever, for free.
It always falls under a sport.
Okay. I didn't know. I mean, I know, to me, it's a sport.
I think they have a competition this weekend, don't they? Okay.
Yeah. So was that money that was set aside for that 5% of the levy, do you think that was worth it, or is there something that maybe it could have been used for that might have been better?
Personally, I think that was worth it because like I said, I'm parents of children in the school system. So going to sporting events is something they enjoy doing. And so when you go to these events and, we're a family of 4. So when you take when you take into the account the number of games that you might go to the parents of athletes that are going to games. I heard one parent mention one time that they had been going to so many home games that when they finally went to an away game, I think they had a family of 4, maybe 5, and she's saying, it's $20, $25, $30, depending on admission. So for us personally, I think it was. However, I think there's a lot of other things that were brought into with this levy that we're not seeing right now because they're happening behind the scenes in the school system. And so I think that's one of the things in a steering committee meeting. I think that they wanted to make sure that the transparency was there, that you could see what was happening, and that this is something that a lot of people know about, but there's other things that are happening that maybe people aren't as aware of.
Yeah, those little things that need done, but you just don't see them as much.
Yeah, and so for people that maybe don't see that and all they're seeing is the sporting events right now, it might seem like that was a big difference in their taxes for something like that. But there's so many things I think that are going on with the levy that you just don't see until, everything's done and the projects are being presented.
And now back to COVID, which you had talked about a lot. And I don't know if you saw the health department had came out and said that unless you have an N95 or a surgical mask, that they don't protect at all.
Yeah.
Which means, in my eyes, well, either one, we have to give all the kids N95 or surgical masks, or you get rid of the masks. So now this is February 17th.
Yes.
So things could change by the time this airs. But as of today, there is still a mask mandate in Grant County schools.
Yes.
If there is still a mask mandate and you are elected, what are your thoughts on ending that, continuing it?
So I think there is discussion happening for sure about ending this mask mandate. I understand why they put this mask mandate in the schools. At the beginning of the year, everyone went back so hopeful and excited that they didn't have to wear that. And I think at one time I heard a number like 250 students were quarantined at one time. So you're pulling out kids out of, that pivotal instructional time. Let's talk about internet around here. Sometimes you just don't have it.
I'm actually talking that with the commissioners that are running to see about broadband. Much needed.
So when you pull that out of some of these older grades that use internet-based, and you can get paper, but, a lot of the things we do now are based off of technology. And then you pull kids that maybe don't have parent support, or parents are working and they're not being able to help. And so, school is the safe place for some kids. Like, this is where they are getting their safe environment. And so I understood when they put the mask mandate because that kept kids in. I do think now kids are, there's so many different, I think they changed the quarantine period every time I look at it.
Yeah,
So
down to 5 now.
yeah, and so now that these are the options, pulling that mask mandate and letting the kids go, back to school without that restriction. And I think that it'll be a good move for the schools.
So, but this was another question of mine, and
Yeah.
this just came to me. It's not one of our asked questions, but I guess some of the things that maybe parents had questions were is you can go to a sporting event.
Yeah.
After school stuff, no masks. During school, masks. Which was
Kind of confusing.
confusing. Yeah, that's a good word. Confusing.
It was, and I am not real sure the thought process behind the, anything after school. I do think that during school, they had a little control over what was happening in there, and so you're bringing an X number of students in every day, and you know that they're going to be exposed. I know, my children have been quarantined a couple of times as a working mother, trying to get their homeschool work done and my own work done. It was an event. And so I think to preventing that for some parents that just don't have the ability to get all of this fit into their day. But I don't know. I'm not sure, after school events, I do. We attended some.
It was a question. Yeah. It's just a question. And I know about the doing the schoolwork since I homeschool
You're doing
my
it
child
full time, aren't you?
every day of the week. Another pertinent question in the news, it actually flipped an election cycle. So in Loudoun County, there was and I don't know all the proper terms, but there was a boy who said he was a girl, went into the girls' restroom and then proceeded to rape a young lady. Petersburg High School has those same policies. What can we do to protect? Because to me, our young ladies are the most fragile thing, and we need to protect them. How do we protect them with something like that?
So I think this is definitely such a touchy subject, and I think the main priority in our schools is to educate our children, but keep them safe also. And so, and I have daughters. This is something that I, not in school, but just in general, back in the day, you'd let your kids go to the bathroom. Now you're like following them everywhere they go, and you're right behind them, and you just there's no space anymore where you feel comfortable with it. I think that some of these policies that they're following, might be guidelines that fall down and then they fall, under certain restrictions that they have to have. I think there just needs to be some protocols in place where you make sure that children have this opportunity if they have to put, a bathroom like this in, make it a one-stall bathroom where it's one person in there and, there's not other children or in there at the same time. I just think it's something that's such a touchy subject right now, and I don't know that there's any right answer because the way I understood it, the school was following a guideline. I don't know Loudoun County.
Yeah, but West Virginia definitely has
this guideline,
yes.
right? Correct. So where they have to put this in, or they're not meeting the code that they're supposed to follow for. But I think there definitely needs to be protocols in place to ensure the safety of all students, no matter what.
Last question.
Okay.
Another very pertinent question. You gotta love Facebook.
Always.
Bullying seems to be a huge subject all the time. What can we do to prevent it, to help it, to maybe better define it? I'm old school. I was always taught sticks and stones can break my bones, but words will never hurt me. I guess that's not the truth anymore. So what can we do? What's something that if you get elected that you can help with that area?
I definitely think bullying is something that's been, ongoing for many years. And now it's so rough sometimes in the school system with things going on. Sometimes this is happening outside of school too. And I think as parents, we kind of need to take a little accountability and make sure that if something is going on in our home, if it, we need to correct it. Also, I think that in the school system, I've talked to people in there, and I feel like you need to make sure that you're communicating and with the staff and guidance counselors, or because I always think when I read things on Facebook, I always think if this was my kid, what would I do? Because that would devastate me. Some of the things on Facebook that I've read, some of them would devastate me. And so if those were my children, I think I would take the steps that I needed to make sure that this was going on, because I don't know if you saw on the news is that mine?
Oh, that's fine.
On the news, the little boy.
I did see that, like a 12 or 13-year-old.
He was a 12-year-old boy, and everything that people wrote about him, it was, it was just so positive. And so these are such, pivotal ages for children that when situations are going on, a lot of times, they don't tell anyone, so we want to make sure we're watching for it and making sure that they know there are people there they can talk to, and then handling. I think some situations, though, each individual situation is different. So I think each situation is going to have to be taken into account, and then going down the road to find what's the best option. But I definitely think the school and parents and everybody needs to work together to get a handle on this, because it is a little scary.
Yeah. And maybe not just air everything on Facebook, I guess.
Yeah, everything in general.
Our whole lives are public now.
Oh, yeah.
That's why we're doing these podcasts, because we want to make your life public here, and
you're
running for a public office.
That's okay. That's the purpose of this, though, right? To get that information out.
So and it's not even really a question. Now is your chance. I've hit you with all these hard, tough questions. Now, tell the people of Grant County why they should vote for Ashley for Board of Education.
Okay. So I have lived in Grant County my entire life. I went to Petersburg Elementary. I went to Petersburg High School. And outside of those 4 years where I went to college, I've always been a Grant County resident. And I graduated from WVU with a bachelor's degree. I studied education. And now my husband, Nathan, and I, we're raising our children here. And so it's really important to me to be a part of this. It's important to me that parents feel like, we trust the school system, but we want to be a part of our children's education too. And so I want people to feel like, if elected to the Board of Education, that I am transparent and that I'm honest and that I'm competent to go in there and be part of the Board of Education. And, the Board of Education is there to just be like kind of an accountability partner to the school system, bring community members in and get those outside ideas and thoughts and opinions. And so I would like people to know that I'm open-minded, and I have ideas and I have opinions, but I'm open to the fact that other people do too. And so as long as it's for the best in the best interest of our children to further their education, so that one day when they go to college or a trade school or into the workforce, no matter what they do, they're ready for this coming out of Grant County schools.
Okay.
So,
Ashley, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Once again, May 10th is the election date. And if you like this video, you can go and like us on Facebook. It is called Explore Grant County. Also, our YouTube page is Explore Grant County, and our Rumble page is Explore Grant County. We made it very simple. So thank you very much for tuning in, and we will catch you with more election coverage.
Hello, I'm Skip Yolberg, Chief Executive Officer of Grant Memorial Hospital.
We are excited to serve you with our newly renovated private inpatient rooms, comprehensive rehabilitation services, state-of-the-art imaging suite including 3D mammography, the only mother-infant care center in the Potomac Highland region, specialized clinics such as orthopedics and general surgery, and now our new infusion and cancer center in partnership with WVU Cancer Institute. To all our friends, thank you for choosing Grant Memorial Hospital.